Hi, Tavaris Cox here. Today I want to talk to you about something very important to each and every one of us, and that is change, okay? Change is so important because without change, everything would just stay stagnant. Now, there are times where you have things that change for the better, but there are also times where things change and it becomes worse. However, once we trust and believe in the Lord, then we understand that the change that's happening within us, within our circumstances, within our circles, then that change is good and it's for the better. We have to trust and believe in the Lord for that. Okay, so today I'm going to come to you from a chapter, word from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 and 2. And it says, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted." Okay, so if we think of the term or the terminology of thinking of a tree, okay, a tree or a plant, you first start with a seed. That seed is planted into the earth, and then we have to do the next thing, which is to water it. We have to water it so that it can catch roots, and then does all the things that it does underground, and then next thing you know, we see it sprout out of the ground. Okay, so that's where we are in our lives. Okay, when we become new creatures in God, He starts to work with us underground, which is internally first. Okay, things start to change, perspectives start to change inwardly. We start to feel different, we start to think different, and then it starts to pour outwardly. So then people will see that change in you. Okay, so I just want to encourage you right here, right now, to accept that change that God is doing inside of you, accept that change that people will see these things. Okay, I know when I started to change, I didn't really embrace the change at first because I started to think like, Lord, well, I used to like this, so why don't I like these things anymore? Or I used to go to these places, but now I no longer have a desire to go to these different places. And I had to understand that that changes for the better. That changes for me to become a better person and a better walk with the Lord and to do what He wants. Because ultimately, times we want to think what it is that we want to do, but ultimately it's all about what the Lord wants us to do and in the direction He wants us to go. Okay, and so one of the things for me that I always think about is when accepting change or when doing change. Again, when I want things to change, I just want them to be a certain way. I then have to think back to what God wants me to do and what He's telling me to do. And so, for me personally, the serenity prayer is so important because it brings me back to that reality. And if you don't know, the serenity prayer goes like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We get that wisdom from God. He gives us that wisdom to be able to accept those things and to be able to change those things. Okay, moving forward, we have to be willing to change. We have to be willing to accept change, and we have to be willing to be the author of change. Okay, so just continue to go forth, think about the change, receive the change from God, and then just go and do it. Okay, the biggest thing to take from this is go and do it. Be that change. I hope that something I said today will inspire that change within you. Accept your mind to for that change, and you go forth and be that change. God bless.